the far inland located refineries at Barauni, Mathura, Panipat, as well as the oil and natural gas based fertilizer plants can only be thought of today in India only because of the new type of transportation system which is a recent arrival on the transportation map of India. Hello students, yesterday we left the topic on pipeline transportation. Earlier pipelines were used in India only to supply water to the houses for domestic use or to supply water to the fields for irrigation. For these limited purposes, pipelines were used earlier. But later, in the recent years, or for the last few decades, pipeline transportation has become very, very important as far as the far off inland refineries are concerned, as far as the gas-based fertilizer plants are concerned. They can be thought of through the pipeline. Moreover, we have read in the previous chapters that most of the minerals that occur inside the earth that are taken out through mining, they are either in slurry or liquid or gaseous form. So even solids can be transported today through pipeline. Earlier, these petroleum products, natural gas, they were transported openly in tankers, and that was highly risky because they are highly inflammable. After the pipeline transportation is introduced in India, although the initial cost of laying down the pipelines, because these pipes are of very good quality and the technology is also needed for laying down the pipeline. So the initial cost of laying down the pipelines is high, no doubt, but there is no further, it's minimal cost. Further cost is minimal. Correct? So these pipelines are very safe. Moreover, I told you that India has a number of fertilizer plants. India has a number of thermal power plants using these petroleum products. This is possible today through the pipeline transportation. The pipeline transportation, it reduces the risk. It is out of risk. It reduces it has no possibilities, actually not reduces, it doesn't have the possibilities of transshipment, delays or any other problem that were faced by us earlier when pipeline transportation was not there, when these things were transported openly. So although not all the parts of India have been connected with the pipelines, but there are three major areas which have been connected with the pipelines, and gradually the government is making efforts to provide these pipelines door to door for gas supply, etc. So recently we have three. The first one is from Upper Assam, the first pipeline that has been laid down from Upper Assam to Kanpur, and it covers Guwahati, Barauni, Siliguri, serving all those plants which use petroleum products. Second is Salaya in Gujarat to Jalandhar in Punjab. It covers Mathura, then Delhi, Sonipat, Koyli, Vadodara, Chakshu. This is in Gujarat. So this is the second pipeline. Correct? And the third one, which we have read in the previous chapter also, that is HVJ. The third one, Hazira, Vijaypur, Jagdishpur cross country pipeline. HVJ pipeline. It is also known as cross country pipeline. Hazira, Vijaypur, Jagdishpur. In the previous lectures, I told you that it makes a curve like this. Hazira in Gujarat, Vijaypur in Madhya Pradesh, and Jagdishpur in Uttar Pradesh, making a curve. Hazira, Vijaypur, Jagdishpur. This is the longest pipeline till now, 1700 km long. Hazira in Gujarat, Vijaypur in Madhya Pradesh, and HVJ, Hazira Vijaypur Jagdishpur in Uttar Pradesh. So it makes a curve 1700 kilometer long, and it supply petroleum products to all those industries, all those refineries which are on the way. So pipeline transportation has proved very, very beneficial as far as India's transportation is concerned. The next topic for today will be waterways. Yes, India has both type of waterways, inland waterways and overseas waterways. In India, there are certain rivers which have mechanized boats, mechanized transportation system, and in some rivers it is not mechanized or partly mechanized. So in this area also we have certain facts, certain parts of it that goes like this, that in the waterways, first of all we have Ganga river, and remember you have to learn the distance that they cover. So Ganga river between Allahabad and Haldia covering 1620 kilometer, and it is known as National Waterway number 1, NW1 or National Waterway number 1, Ganga river between Allahabad and Haldia. Second is Brahmaputra river. Second one is Brahmaputra river. The distance you have to again learn it, 891 kilometers, and it is also known as National Waterway number 2. And National Waterway number 3 is the West Coast Canal in Kerala, Kollam, Kottayam, Udyog Mandal, Champakara Canal, and this is of 205 kilometer of distance, and this is known as National Waterway number 3. So NW1, NW2, NW3. So these are inland waterways. Apart from these are declared as national waterways. So that is why we are doing it separately, the national waterways of India. Then there are certain rivers which are also used as waterways, as for water transportation, inland waterways, that is Krishna, Godavari, Barak, Sundarbans, Damodar Valley, Damodar River, and etc. These are the inland, Godavari, Krishna, east-west canal. So all these are important for our inland waterways, inland, carrying goods and services from one place to another and facilitating the movement of people and passengers. So when we did the classification of the transportation map of India, I told you there is inland and overseas. So we have done inland. Now we will switch over quickly to overseas routes by which India is indulged in export and import of about 95% of the total of its foreign trade. So India is very fortunate to have 2 long coastlines, and that is why India is famous as a seafaring countries in the world. Roughly, if I tell you, it is western coast and this one is your eastern coast, and these are our oceanic areas, the sea areas from where our overseas trade is done. And in this, the first one is Kandla in Gujarat. The question is separate on it, that why was Kandla port developed? Because I told you, when Britishers were there in India, when India was colonized, many seaports were developed because it was for the convenience of the colonial power, the Britishers. After independence, we have to look after all these ports because we were going to use it for our trade purpose. So Kandla port was developed. There were certain reasons for it. Number one, because after the partition of the country, when Hindustan and Pakistan were formed, we lost Karachi port to Pakistan. And because of the loss of Karachi port to Pakistan, we wanted one more port, and then Kandla port was developed. First reason. Second reason was that Mumbai port was very, very congested. The port at Maharashtra, Mumbai, that was very, very congested. So to decongest the port of Mumbai, Kandla port was to be developed. Second reason. Third reason, because Kandla Port can handle the granaries coming from Jammu and Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, Punjab and Haryana. Punjab, Haryana, Jammu and Kashmir and this Himachal Pradesh. All the granaries coming from this part, the northwestern part of India, can be handled very carefully and very efficiently at the Kandla Port. So Kandla Port was developed, and this served as a very important port as far as the congestion, as far as the burden on the other ports is concerned. So Kandla Port came into being. Second is Mumbai. Mumbai Port, very, very important and very busy port. So Mumbai Port, very old, and as far as space is concerned, as far as its size is concerned, it is a very big port. And again, even when the Kandla Port was developed, even then Mumbai Port was very, very busy, because it handles all the raw materials, hinterland, the materials coming from the hinterlands, the products coming from the industries, because so many industries are there. So even then Mumbai Port was very congested. So near the Mumbai Port, a hub port, a small hub port was created, that was Jawaharlal Nehru, or Neva Sheva in short. Mumbai, along with the Mumbai Port, correct? When we come down, when we proceed here, then there is Goa and Marmagaon Port. Goa, previously it was a union territory, later it was given the status of a state. So Marmagaon Port. After the Marmagaon Port, there is the port of New Mangalore, Karnataka. New Mangalore, about which we have read in previous chapters also. Kudrmukh Mines, 100% export unit iron ore, and it is world's largest, and it is very important for our country. So New Mangalore in Karnataka, very important, and this we have read previously also, because it handles the export of iron ore to the other countries, and because we need foreign exchange for imports. And finally, in the western coast, after the New Mangalore, it is Kochi or Kerala. Again, the extreme part of this portion, the extreme part of our western coast. It is the port of Kochi, and it handles spices and the other cotton, etc., as well as it handles a very good export to all the neighboring countries nearby. So these we have done, the ports of the western coast. If we revise it, go through Kandla, Mumbai. With Mumbai, it is Jawaharlal Nehru Port, Marmagaon, New Mangalore and Kochi. Like this we have covered the ports of the western coast. Tomorrow we will proceed it further, going from bottom to up. In extreme northeast, we will start with the Tuticorin or Tamil Nadu. Till then, it is a very good bye from me, and do your, at page 89 in your NCERT, the map is given regarding the ports. You just revise it. We will meet again tomorrow with a new lecture. Goodbye.